trying to make sure everything is up and running before it gets started. There we go. I think it's going. There we go. Hey everybody, I thought I would jump on here and share with you the 3 things that you're likely doing to fuck up your business. I've actually worked from home for close to 7 years as a freelance writer and editor, although I do not refer to myself as a freelancer, because I found during my close to 7 years to doing this from home that the word freelance has some negative connotations to it. I am recording this because it's going to get posted. If you have questions or comments, make sure that you drop them in the chat box. I do not have moderation set. I'll try to keep an eye on it. Or if you want to test out a new feature, although I can't check it right this second, you can call, believe it or not, and leave a question. 855-889-3400. That's actually going to be the new podcast line as well, so make sure that you call and leave a message. And again, the topic for today is 3 things that you're likely doing to fuck up your business. So we're just going to go ahead and jump to it. The first thing that you're doing to screw up your business is you're overthinking every single thing that you're doing. And overthinking is a killer. And the reason that it's such a killer is because overthinking tends to lead to overwhelm. One of the best things that you can do is something that's called name it to tame it. And if you were on my stories last week for Instagram or even my regular Facebook page, then you know that I talked a little bit about this last week. Something that I personally do because I deal a lot with overwhelm myself. When you're doing name it to tame it, you're basically calling yourself out on your own bullshit. When you realize that you're starting to overthink the process, overthink the project, overthink the deadline, overthink whatever it is that you're doing, call yourself out on it. Stop the process dead in its tracks and do something about it. Stop the overthinking process. When you call it out, you're going head on and dealing with the anxiety. And I know a thing or two about dealing with the anxiety. I have complex PTSD, and I am an anxious person in general. And the other thing I tend to do to deal with overthinking and overwhelm is I use my calendar. There's a lot of different ways that you can use a calendar. You could use a paper calendar, you could use an online calendar, Trello, ClickUp, Asana, anything you want. Another method you could do to deal with overthinking any situation that you're dealing with to stop from ruining or just pushing your business back is to make sure that you're finding a method to move forward in your day. One method that I recommend is another thing that I use is I look at my deadlines and I decide which one is going to make me feel the most successful during the day. Some people refer to that as the eat the frog method. So you find the most difficult thing or the thing. Overthinking is pretty much how you approach all of your life. Well, it's a family trait, my dear. All of us, I'm starting to think we were just fucking raised that way, quite frankly. And sparkling water. Find the most difficult thing that you can do. Just knock it out, get it done, and then no matter what else you have to do that day, you're going to feel like you've got something done. Other people tend to go by starting with something small, warming up, and then, working their way up to doing something large. That doesn't work for me because I tend to be a bit of a procrastinator, and if you know that you're a procrastinator, you're going to tend to overthink and do, more overthinking and overwhelm yourself, and that's just something that you don't really need to do. So you have to find a way to deal with the fact that you're overthinking. Another thing that I like to do is take the end goal of what I need to accomplish in any given scenario with a client's project and basically reverse engineer it. And if you're working with a client or if you're working with a project that happens to be kind of vague and you have a client that isn't exactly sure what they want, make sure that you're having those conversations with the client and getting as much information as you can out of them so that you can get a better sense of what should happen and at least what the end goal should be so that you know how to better serve them by the end of the project, even if it means that you have to look a lot of shit up, because that's actually how I got from just writing basic articles to doing SEO projects was, well, looking everything up. I literally learned to do what I do basically by Googling everything to death. But start with the end goal and then figure out what it's going to take to get there. Just start breaking it down into smaller steps. And then if you don't have deadlines assigned, make sure that you assign yourself some deadlines, because that's, going to be the best possible way to stop overthinking everything and to make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself. And that actually leads me to the second thing that you're doing to fuck up your business. You're not spending enough time on it. This is something that I see from everybody that's just starting out to people that are actively working their business, is people who set time aside to work on their business or who actively have a business, but they're not following through. I talk extensively about this in my book, and when you're just starting out, it actually ends up looking like, at least before COVID-19, people would say to you, oh, well, you work from home, I have a real job, so could you go and do these errands for me, or you could work later. The problem with that is later never comes, or you end up painting yourself into a corner, and then if you do have clients and you do have projects, you end up doing kind of a shitty job on your project, and then you end up losing your client, or they're not happy with what happened, and so they end up wanting, you to do something different or something better. They want a refund. So you have to be extremely careful with your time, and the time that you set aside for your business. If you have clients, that's time. Literally, time is money for those clients, and so you have to make sure that you're making the most of the time that you set aside for your business. And if you don't have clients yet, you need to make sure that the time that you set aside to grow your business, that's exactly what you're using that time for. It doesn't matter if you're having to get up earlier, stay up later, not do certain things on the weekends, or whatever, like the train wreck of Facebook. Your friend's 19th love of their life for this fucking year is still going to be there, and all 900 comments of the breakup, it's all still going to be there. You can take that 2 hours a night and look for clients, or plan your business, or do the research, or work on your business plan, or do whatever it is that you need to do, because until you find those clients, it is your responsibility to work on that. Like the saying goes for anyone looking for a traditional job, until you have a job, it is your job to find a job. There's no such thing as a client fairy. No one is going to drop clients off on your doorstep or in your email box. It is literally your job to find work. And that's literally like the biggest reason why freelancers, side hustlers, work from home moms, whoever it is, however people want to classify themselves, that's literally the biggest reason why they end up failing, is because they don't want to devote the time to doing the work. They come up with reasons, and the problem is they're not reasons, they're excuses. We're all tired. We're all sick of 2020 shit. I mean, that's for damn sure. But the fact is, if you want to grow a business, if you want to make this successful, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the time that you've set aside to do this. Like right now, well, any weekday, it doesn't matter. I do this in the summer, I do this throughout the school year. I'm up by 5 o'clock in the morning. I start my work day by 6 a.m. I stop at about 8 a.m. to feed the dogs. My 11-year-old special needs son, because the virtual school year just started and he's doing virtual school because of COVID-19, he has to use my laptop because of the built-in webcam to do roll call. And the way that the online school works, he can't log in from the regular computer because there's no webcam. Kind of weird, but okay. So then we kind of just switch off back and forth, since he has some structure to his day, but we can switch off, and I can actually work and do most of my stuff from the other computer, which is great. I work until probably 2 or 3 in the afternoon while supervising him, plus making lunch, plus his breakfast, plus everything else, plus everything that comes along with keeping the house. And then, it's 6:35 p.m. my time right now while I'm making this video. And plus the blogs that I maintain. I'm looking at my schedule, by the way. That's what I keep looking over here at. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot to do, and he has speech therapy on Wednesdays, and every other Tuesday he has ABA behavioral therapy. So yeah, I know a thing or two about being tired, and when I started this business, a schedule was an absolute mess. I worked 2 jobs, and I built this business in the mornings, on the weekends, in the evenings, and I had 2 other kids at home at the same time. So when I talk about keeping a schedule for your business and making time to grow your business and setting your excuses aside, I know what I'm talking about, because that is the only way that you're going to grow your business and make something happen for yourself. And so then the third way that you're fucking up your business is because you're listening to people that don't know what they're talking about. I was told for I don't know how long, and I still get told this all the time, and that's why I don't tell people that I'm a freelance writer or I'm a freelance editor. Actually, I just tell people I'm a professional nerd, and I actually get a lot more professional respect telling people this really vague thing that I've made up than I do when I tell them what I do for a living. It's kind of weird. But I get told all the time still to this day that I can't make money as a professional writer. I make more now working part-time than I did working 2 jobs. And one of those jobs was a college educator with a degree, obviously. And then I also worked in a real estate law firm. So yeah, about that not being able to make money as a writer. And then I've also been told that because I make money as a writer, I'm not a real writer. So the issue with listening to people who tell you about what you can't do is that they had someone come along and crush their dreams, or they were unable to do it because they didn't want to put in the work that they had to put in to make it happen. And so because they were unable to do it, and they wanted to think that they were some sort of statistical anomaly and like they were just going to get shit handed to them somehow, that because they couldn't do it, therefore you certainly can't do it. And they don't want to feel bad, and they don't want to look bad, and so they just want to believe that no one else is going to be capable of doing it either. And so, like, it really pisses off a lot of people, especially on my mom's side of the family, not cousins, but, you know, some of the, you know, people my mom's age that, you know, the youngest one off that side that nobody really cared much for was able to turn around and make something happen when most of them figured that it wasn't going to be possible. So make sure that you're not listening to people who don't know what the hell they're talking about. You need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are positive, who, you know, they want something out of life, even if they haven't quite gotten there yet. Maybe they're still working towards it. Maybe you're listening to podcasts. Maybe you don't have a lot of people in your area around, but you could listen to podcasts. There are articles out there. There's all kinds of ways to make sure that you're getting around, because there's so much more information available right now for people who want to be successful at starting an online business of any kind, working from home in any capacity. There's so much more information right now available for free online. Like, you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars one time or a month to join, you know, programs or courses or any of this other shit. There's so much out there available for free. When I started 7 years ago, there was like nothing. Nothing. I did a lot of Googling. I bought books. I went to the library. I read a bunch of books. The way that I figured out my pricing was, you know, I bought the Writer's Market Guide, and I sat down and I thought about what I was making then, what I needed to make to, you know, provide for my family, and I just did the basic math, right? And then I just kind of went from there. And the thing that I have found doing this and giving out this sort of information and running this page and running my private groups and running my paid group, and I have one paid group, and then, you know, running my blog and, you know, being featured by Upwork and doing all of these things, what I have found is, despite the amount of information out there available to people for free, and despite the number of professionals like myself, and I know probably 10 other top rated and top rated plus Upworkers who give information away for free like I do, most people don't want to take that information and do anything with it. They'll ask us a dozen questions, but then they actually don't want to do the work. They don't want to take what we tell them to do and put it together. So make sure that you're listening to the people that have the information, and you're not listening to these dumbasses out there who tell you that you can't make it happen. So those are, in a nutshell, the 3 things that most people do to fuck up their business. Number 1, overthinking everything that they're doing. Sometimes the best thing to do is to just do it. That's a few years ago, actually, how I kind of just grew my business. I just started saying yes, and I ended up so overwhelmed with work that for my non-Upwork clients, I actually had to bring on extra contractors to get caught up. And my husband even had to jump in and help that summer, and so did my oldest son, who is now 22 years old, and then our middle son, who is now 19 years old. Like, everybody, like, it was literally an all hands on deck situation, because I just started saying yes and stopped overthinking everything to death. And I still have my moments where I overthink things, because it's the nature of the beast. It's just part of who I am. There are some strong points to being a thinker. I'll talk about that in another post, or in another video, rather. You can tell I'm a writer. I don't do a lot of live videos, except the short ones on Instagram. I do a lot of those. Number 2, the second thing, as a reminder that things that people are doing to fuck up their business, they're not spending the allotted time that they need to spend, and that they say they're going to spend on their business, on growing their business, and on their client projects. So again, make sure that you're allotting enough time to spend on your client projects. If you already have them, use a calendar. Use a calendar. I don't care if it's a written calendar. I don't care if it's a digital calendar. I don't care if it's something like Trello, ClickUp. I don't care. Whatever makes you fucking happy, that you'll stick to, use it. I don't care. Whatever. It is your job to devote time to building your business, to refining your business, to growing your business until you have clients, and then it is your job to keep those clients happy, to meet those deadlines, and to continue to grow your business. That is your job. It is no one else's job. No one is going to drop clients off on your doorway. Just because you decide you're open for business does not mean clients are just going to flock to you. It is your fucking job to spend the required amount of time to grow your business. I worked 2 jobs and still managed to grow my business while I had 3 kids in the house, one of which is developmentally disabled and will never leave the nest. And in fact, is in the living room right now watching Shrek. Okay? Number 3, I went blank. Number 3, don't listen to assholes. Seriously. Surround yourself with people that believe in you. I don't care if these assholes are related to you. I don't care if this is someone that you think has been your best friend since you were a child, since you were in junior high, since you were whatever. Like, I don't care. Don't surround yourself with assholes. Don't surround yourself with naysayers. Don't listen to people who tell you that what you're wanting to do with your business is impossible, because it's not. I'm here to tell you it is not. People used to tell me all the time and still tell me, can't make a living writing. I've done it for close to 7 years. I'm still doing it. Of course you can make a living writing. The fucking internet exists, okay? Not only do they need writers, they need editors, and I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be great at writing to get a job as a writer. Because then they turn around and hire editors like me. Okay? So, don't listen to assholes. And they're always going to be there. Your mindset is on you. Like, you have to protect what you're listening to. You have to protect you. That is your job. So, that's really all I have. You guys are welcome to pop questions down into the comments. If you have any questions, anything related to working from home, freelancing business, I do have a toll-free number that will be used for the podcast at some point, and all of this audio will be stripped out and turned into a podcast as well. The toll-free number, if anybody has questions and wants to call and leave messages that will be answered later, is 855-889-3400. And this video, in addition to being live on Facebook, is also going to be recorded, or is being recorded, and is also going to be scooped up and put onto YouTube, because my virtual assistant thought that would be a great idea. So that's really all I have for you guys today. Glad everybody got to come, all 2 of you. So thanks for watching.